Brock Ingy Home Reviews Iron Man. Oh yeah.
With the new studio setup, the way things work now, is there more of an opportunity for a crossover here and there with Marvel characters in a movie? So say somebody might show up in a Hulk movie down the road.
I think if you listen to the characters I named that we are working on currently, and you put them all together, there's no coincidence that may someday equal the Avengers. I think just having that possibility on the horizon is something that excites all of us.
The world where the Avengers and everything weren't even a twinkle yet. It was just an idea. Had a lot of fun talking about the Avengers last week and what a great and epic movie it was, but decided I wanted to go back where it all started. Iron Man. Iron Man starring Robert Downey Jr. came out in May 2008, and it kickstarted the MCU, and I thought it would just be cool to go back and talk about where it all started.
Tony Stark. Now you work for me. What are you building, Stark?
Your eyes are red. Your tears for your long-lost boss?
Tears of joy. I hate job hunting.
Yeah, vacation's over. Hey, what? Throw a little hot rod red in there.
Good luck keeping up.
Wow. Still really cool teaser trailer of just the hints of what was going to come in the MCU. Like I said, Iron Man came out in May 2008, directed by Jon Favreau, who would go on to direct Iron Man 2 as well. Stars Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Jeff Bridges, Terrence Howard. I had a lot of fun rewatching this movie. It's a lot of your guys' favorites. I know Iron Man's one of the biggest and most popular superheroes in the world right now. Robert Downey Jr. had a lot to do with that. Not at the time when it actually came out, though, for sure. But like I said, May 2008 was when this movie released. It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun rewatching this. I recently, probably the last time I watched it was last year when I was doing my MCU marathon. But had a lot more just detail and things I was actually looking at this time when wanting to review it actually as a movie, not just as I want to go in and just watch this, have fun. Two very different things. But just right off the bat, this is just a fun, great superhero origin movie, one of the best actually, and that a lot has to do with Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal as Iron Man. At the time, he was not the highest grossing paid actor. He was paid $500,000 for this movie, which is pretty crazy. And a lot of people didn't think that he could do it. He was kind of on the rough as far as his life at the time. He had gone to prison for cocaine, different things like that. And a lot of people had their doubts whether he could do it or not. And looking back today, you're probably like, there's no way he was born to play that role. Just wasn't the mindset at the time.
What a joker.
And he had a huge wake-up call, and he decides he wants to do something with it, with this technology that he builds. He's going to eventually become the Iron Man. And he goes and decides he wants to stop. He completely shuts down his whole weapons company and decides that he wants to do better. And people think he's crazy for it, but he's like, no, I saw some things that we need to be we need to change. I need to change. And he goes from this just cocky guy to, he still has a little bit of an ego, as you'll see towards the end of the movie, but overall, he starts to realize this is not what I want my life to be. And like I said, Robert Downey Jr., he was literally born to play this role. I think we all know at this point. But this movie really is probably one of his best performances. I probably would maybe say the only thing that maybe rivals it is maybe Captain America Civil War, maybe, or Avengers Endgame. They're both up there for sure. But man, he was born to play this role. Has a great supporting cast, though, too. Terrence Howard, we only see him one time, as War Machine, and James Rhodey. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, which is really cool as well. And then we also have the villain, who we will eventually find out to be the villain, Jeff Bridges as Obadiah. That probably would be my only biggest nag, I think, against this movie. One of two, I guess you could say, is the villain with Jeff Bridges as the Ironmonger, as they call it. Because these early MCU films, you can really see all the villain is just the complete opposite of our hero, which isn't bad per se, but he kind of comes in the final act, and their battle is kind of not the coolest because Iron Man's got a defect arc reactor because he stole it from him, but he was kind of the guy behind the scenes a little bit. Had some good personality. Just for me, I think there would be some more better, I guess, MCU villains to come, but he definitely had a big impact because he was the one who decided to have the Five Rings terrorist group to kidnap Tony Stark, and he would start his journey to eventually become Iron Man. My only other biggest thing I probably have an issue with this film is some of the action is is kind of there. This isn't really a heavy action film, and that's okay for some people. For me, I think I would just like to see a little bit more of Tony in the suit. We get like the first suit up, him taking out some terrorists. And then besides that, it's really nothing besides the final battle with Obadiah Stane, which isn't bad. But this movie is definitely more character focused, which I'm going to get into, which is totally not a bad thing whatsoever. But just some of the background behind this film, they actually started shooting this film before the script was even like, you know, done, which is not typically something that a movie does. And this movie had a lot riding on it, because if this bombed, there would be no MCU, there would be no Avengers, there would be no Guardians of the Galaxy, all the movies that a lot of us love. And so this has a huge credit of what the MCU is. It started this whole template of you take a hero, you take an antagonist, you put them together, you take someone who's maybe not such a good character right away, like Tony Stark, and you watch him go on this journey of, there's that scene I love where he's with Pepper and he's like, I shouldn't be alive unless it's for a reason. And he talks about like, I'm here to protect the people, and he just realizes like, I was put here to do more than just cause destruction with my company. He takes full responsibility with that. Another thing that still holds up this film after rewatching it is the CGI. It's really incredible. Honestly, this might be kind of like an unpopular opinion, but I think some of these earlier Iron Man suits honestly look better than some of like the later ones we would get, just because they're practical. I love me some CGI, but I love when it's blended well, and this one really does it well. Like, you see all like the metal things turn and how intricate they are and everything. Like, it's really legit. Like, you believe like that technology could be real. I honestly do believe it will be real one day, for sure, the Iron Man. This MCU film just has so much heart with it, and it's so character driven. Like, the reason why we fell in love with Tony Stark so much is we watched him go from this journey to, again, like I've said, like the cocky billionaire, to eventually this hero, this guy who stands for something, this guy who actually is like, cares for other people, not just himself anymore. And that's what makes you fall in love with someone, when they start to become better. Now, he's not perfect. As we would say, his arc, he still has a long way to go, but just to see the evolution of his character from where he started from being this cocky guy rolling dice, not accepting reward, and sleeping around with different people, to willing to sacrifice himself. Of the film is really good. It's a quick 2 hours, and you don't even realize it's 2 hours. It's really well shot as well, and you can just see that the fingerprints of MCU's biggest producer, Kevin Feige, are all over this film. And it's just one where everyone loves to go back and watch. Like, whenever this is on TV, I want to go back shit. Because I'm like, I appreciate the film so much. It's definitely my top 10 as far as best MCU movies, for sure. And without Iron Man, there would be no MCU. And so it's got a great plot, great story, great characters. You would see the romance a little bit start to begin with Pepper Potts and Tony Stark. Not just yet, but that there was something more. She's got a couple good lines too, as well, in the movie, which is fun. I actually kind of liked Terrence Howard a little bit more as James Rhodey, not War Machine, the Don Cheadle, just because I think he's got a little bit more charisma. Terrence Howard was asking for a little bit more money, so that's why he got kicked off. But that's just kind of my opinion on it a little bit. But Iron Man's got great pacing, a good first act, really good first act, a good second act. The third act just kind of fumbles a little bit for me with some of the action in the final battle, just because there's definitely stakes. I just wish it was a little bit cooler, get to see the Iron Man suit a little bit more. But this movie changed superhero movies forever. And a big reason for that was just because Iron Man was an unknown hero. He was a B-list superhero. I know it's hard to believe, but he was a B-list superhero before this. And the team at Marvel, with Kevin Feige, Jon Favreau, and Robert Downey Jr., brought this character to life, brought it so much heart to it, brought just this character we would start to become in love and just crave for all of his movies. And it's going to have an everlasting impact. And one last thing too, two things. The ending of this movie does change the superhero landscape forever, because before this, the whole idea of the secret identity thing was such a big deal. And a spoiler warning here, if you haven't seen it, this movie's been out for 12 years, but if you haven't seen it, Tony Stark's reading these cue cards. They're setting up this thing because they don't want him to, they don't want everyone to know that he's actually in the suit and he's Iron Man. And he's got this card and he's kind of going off. He's kind of fumbled some of the questions. And he, him being kind of his egotistical self, he just says, the truth is, and we get those famous words.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The truth is, I am Iron Man.
And they go nuts. And that was so huge because Spider-Man and like all the superheroes before, they weren't coming out and revealing their secret identity. That was such a big thing for them to keep it concealed. And then he just comes out and says, no, I am Iron Man. I am going to take this fame, this fortune here. And we're like, what? Like, you can do that? And they did it well. And to some degree, as it kind of got down the line a little bit, that was good for better or worse. There's some superhero movies that I'll talk about later that I wish that secret identity element was still there, but that was huge. We want to see more of this character. We want to see more of the Iron Man. And what's cool is you stick around for this movie, we get the first MCU post-credit scene of Nick Fury talking to Tony Stark about you-know-what.
I am Iron Man. You think you're the only superhero in the world? Mr. Stark, you've become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Who the hell are you?
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
And here's the crazy thing, the first time I saw this movie, I did not stick around for that. I thought it was over. Now, if you get up during Marvel movies, and if you get up during a Marvel movie, honestly, after that it's over, what are you doing? There's always a post-credit scene. Like, come on, get with it, people. Just a little pet peeve there on a side note. But he says, we're here, I want to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative. And we're like, what? That's actually going to be a thing? If we only knew what we were going to get here in the year 2020 of all the movies. But in closing, Iron Man, it's got great heart, it's got great characters. Robert Downey Jr. absolutely kills and defines his role as Iron Man to where it's literally his portrayal has been shaped in all other different medias of it. And it's a film I love rewatching again. So out of, if I had to say out of 10, it's definitely a solid 9 out of 10 for sure. So hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. I am going to be doing my MCU review videos, and I hope you guys like to join in with me as I take this journey. I know it kind of started off with the Avengers. I'm going to dial it back a little bit. And kind of go in order, but I can't wait to talk more MCU and look forward to the preview of Netgoy's review. We'll see ya. Bye.